Hi, I'm Joe Cullen, a reporter with the government television network Channel 16. I was asked by the folks here at Access SEC to give some of my expertise on interviewing. I host a monthly show on Channel 16 called Northeast Journal, and every month I interview various city officials, business owners, and interesting residents. The first thing I always do when I'm going to be interviewing somebody is my research. No matter what the topic is, whether I'm interviewing a brand new mayor to one of our cities or a high school student who won some kind of award, I need to know what I'm talking about. So some of the easiest ways to do research is maybe to give that person a call, kind of do a pre-interview over the phone, find out, what questions you might want to be asking them, and they might give you some interesting information. Also, the internet can be a great tool. Obviously, you have to be careful. Can't necessarily trust everything you see out there, but if you find some good, reputable sites, there might be previous articles that have been written about the person you're going to be interviewing, or if they work for a business, it would certainly be a good idea to check out the business website and give you lots of good information. So definitely going to want to do that research right away. Going hand in hand with doing your research is formulating a list of questions. And there's going to be some obvious ones, kind of the, who, what, where, when, why, and how type questions. Those are going to be kind of your basics, who are you? Why are you here? What are you doing? Those types of things. And, you're going to want kind of a variety of questions. It's probably a good idea to write them down, even to have them to bring to your interview. And, it's kind of like any kind of brainstorming activity. Just start jotting down all the questions that you can think of. You might not use them later, and you might want to kind of reprioritize them into the order that you think you're going to ask them. But, through your research, through talking with the person beforehand, you should probably have a pretty good idea of, depending on how long your interview is, you probably want to have at least a good, 10, 15 questions to go into your interview with. So now you're getting ready to start the interview. It's probably a good idea to open up with what we'll call some softball questions. Now, I don't mean questions about the game of softball, although if you're interviewing a softball coach or player, that probably would be a good idea. But for instance, recently I interviewed a mayor, a newly elected mayor to one of our cities, and you might want to start with an easy question. Just you've introduced who they are, but you might want to start with something like, tell us a little bit about your background. I find that one works really well for most people. That way they can kind of speed up and let the audience out there kind of know who they are and what other jobs they've had, that type of thing. And you get a couple of those kind of easier questions going. That way it gives the audience important information they're going to need to know, but also it might put them at ease a little bit and kind of get the interview moving and grooving. Now, an important thing you're going to want to do while interviewing is to make sure you ask open-ended questions. What does that mean? Well, basically, you want to ask questions that cause the person you're interviewing to answer with more than just a yes or a no. If you ask something that could easily be answered yes or no, that would be a close-ended question. For instance, you might say, do you like playing softball? Well, that could easily just be answered yes or no. A lot of guests will probably elaborate more than that anyway, but you don't really want to give them the chance to just say yes or no. So you want to just say something like, tell me what you think about being a softball player. It's kind of hard to just say yes or no to that. If for some reason your guests were to just say yes or no, all hope is not lost. Don't panic. Just try to say something like, oh, could you elaborate on that for me? That way they will. But, it happens to all of us. Sometimes you are just going to get these short answers. But if you word your questions in a certain way, you'll protect yourself. So there you have it. There's my interviewing tips. Perhaps the best way, though, to get better at interviewing is just to do a lot of interviews. You're going to learn from your mistakes, you're going to get better as it goes on, and especially since these are all being taped, you can go back and watch it a million times when you're done, and you'll pick up on things that you liked that you did, things that you didn't like, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next Barbara Walters or Matt Lauer, or, if you're lucky, the next Joe Cullen.